And when I was going to bed, my only thought was, man, what an idiot. Well, to understand how I actually got to that point, we need to go back in time a little bit. You know, the day I sat down to write the script for this video, for the first few hours, it looked exactly like that SpongeBob meme. That's all because I had a topic ready, I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about, but I just couldn't get started. But I think I finally figured out how to begin. For this, we're gonna have to travel way back into the past. So get comfortable, grab something to eat, grab a drink, and enjoy the video. If I remember correctly, this happened back in elementary school, around the 4th grade. Just a normal day in school, I walk into the classroom and notice that my friend, the girl I used to share a desk with, is looking at me very suspiciously. I sat down, and before I can even say a word, she immediately goes, "Hey, do you want to play Minecraft today? But on a Pokémon server." Just so you understand, at that time, the only thing I knew about Pokémon were Pikachu and that this guy in the cap was the main character. I told her all that, but she said with absolute confidence, "You're gonna love it." She really saw right through me. Honestly, I didn't have a good reason to say no. We played Minecraft together every single day anyway, but Pokémon, that was something completely new. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I get home, call my friend on Skype. Yeah, back then everyone was still using Skype. I joined the server she told me about and I started discovering these, well, square-shaped Pokémon. This was the Pixelmon mod. Honestly, a legendary mod. Thanks to it I discovered a ton of amazing YouTubers who I watched up until recently. Made a lot of friends and honestly it made me fall in love with Minecraft all over again. Alright, I'm getting a bit distracted. So I joined the server and right in front of me was the starter Pokémon selection. To be honest, I don't remember exactly who was there, but it was definitely Charmander, Squirtle and Bulbasaur and other Gen 1 Pokémon. And I'm just sitting there, overthinking it. My friend is already rushing me like, "Come on, hurry up, let's play." So I just picked one randomly. And it's pretty funny, because if you ask me who my favorite Pokémon is today, I'll probably say Squirtle. And back then, by pure coincidence, it happened to be Squirtle. Though at that time, I didn't know anything about his personality or his stats. I just asked my friend which of these was a water type. And I picked him. Pretty funny how things work out. Anyway, about a month went by like this. Every single day, my friend and I would get together to play Pokémon. I completely fell in love. Fell in love with these characters. I know it sounds a bit weird now, considering how low quality the mod used to be back then, but still. But if you think about it, what really hooked me wasn't even the variety of Pokémon. It was something else. Imagine, you're playing by yourself, alone on a server. It should be boring, right? But no, you just realize all your Pokémon around you and suddenly it feels way more alive. That feeling of being completely alone just disappeared. It felt like you had a whole crew with you. And there was another thing that really set this mod apart from anything else I had played before. Usually games work like this. You want something cool, go craft it. Spend hours gathering resources, reading wikis on how to build it. But here it worked completely differently. You want a cool Pokémon? Well, go to the exact place where it spawns and wait. So it wasn't about how many hours you spent grinding a craft, it was about how much you actually knew about the Pokémon themselves. Where they spawn, when, under what conditions. And that feeling, knowing that your knowledge actually mattered in the game, rather than just how much you grinded, it really stuck with me. But all of that was just about the games. At that point I hadn't even touched the main show. I don't know why, but starting something new is always really hard for me. I can literally spend a month making up excuses for why I don't watch something, but once I finally start, I won't stop until the final episode. If you're the same way, let me know in the comments, it would be interesting to read. So, how did I actually start watching Pokémon? To be honest, I don't remember the exact day, but one day I came home from school, bad mood, I didn't want to do anything. For the first time in forever, I didn't even want to play games. I spent about an hour just staring at the ceiling, and then, completely out of nowhere, I turned on Pokémon. The very first episode, where Ash is choosing his first Pokémon. And you know, usually when I start watching something new, I often dislike it at first. I get this feeling that I'll turn it off halfway through the first episode. But here, it was completely different. I was hooked from the very first seconds. That music, that super old, cozy animation style, those genuinely summer vibes, and most importantly, the main character. Ash is honestly one of the best main characters in all the animes or cartoons, I don't know. Truly kind, likable, and without that annoying, over-the-top extra stuff that creators love giving to main characters nowadays. And I got hooked. Yeah, just like that. I started during the day and only stopped late at night when it was time for a bed. All night I was just thinking about how I will go to school tomorrow and tell my friend that I finally started watching it. And there was a funny moment there too. I came to school the next day, tell my friend that I started watching Pokémon and ask her, so what episode are you on? And she says she's already watched 5 seasons and asks me back. And I'm just like, I don't know, episode 20, I guess. I don't know why I remember this, but I just recall feeling so awkward at that moment. Like, here I am, acting like I love Pokemon so much, and I'm only on episode 20. A bit weird. But what really hooked me in this anime the most wasn't the plot, or even the world of Pokemon itself. It was Ash. You genuinely want to relate to him. There is nothing bad about him, nothing to dislike him for. He's really just a kid who makes mistakes, learns from them, and stays just as kind. And what's crazy is, years go by, new seasons come out, Ash gets new friends, new challenges, but he stays exactly the same. And you get this real feeling that you're not just watching a cartoon, you're keeping up with a friend, someone you genuinely care about. This anime truly earned a special place in my heart. I remember I even had a Pikachu cake for one of my birthdays, if I'm not mistaken. I was completely obsessed with Pokemon, and that lasted for a pretty long time. But, just like with all good things, sooner or later, it has to end. I moved up to middle school, and my friend, the one who introduced me to all of this, was moved to a different class. And you know, looking back at it now, it was genuinely sad. Because almost everything I liked I could always talk about with her, and suddenly that was just gone. In my new class, nobody really cared about Pokemon. It wasn't as popular. And over time, since I had nobody to talk about it, I slowly started to forget. Not overnight, of course. I still liked Pokemon and sometimes I would even watch it. But you know how it is at that age. I was about 10 or 11, and it's so easy for the people around you to influence your opinion. Pokemon got overshadowed by other games that were popular with my classmates. And at some point I started thinking to myself that, well, it's a past stage. That I'm not a kid anymore to be enjoying stuff like this. And I probably would have never thought about it again if it wasn't for a one situation about 5 years after moving to middle school. Just a regular day during winter break. I'm scrolling through YouTube, can't find anything to watch. And suddenly, I see a thumbnail with the word Pixelmon, a video from 6 years ago by a YouTuber I used to watch back then. I click it, and that was it. I spent the whole evening watching his videos, then moved on to the anime, turned on the very first episode, and that's how the night went. And when I was going to bed, my only thought was, man, what an idiot. Why? Because only a real idiot would lie to himself for so many years, convincing himself that he doesn't like something, just because his classmates said so. I get that I was just a kid back then, but still, in that moment it felt really disappointing. But to wrap it up, not too long ago I played Pixelmon again, the newest version. They added a ton of cool stuff and the mode is so much better than it used to be. And during those 3 weeks that I was playing it, I realized something. Even though I stopped talking to that friend, and even though I lied to myself for so long just to get respect from my classmates, I still genuinely love the entire franchise. And I want to say thank you for all the emotions it gave me over the years. And even though Ash's original story officially ended back in 2023, Pokemon will definitely live in all of us for a very long time. If you've ever had a similar experience, an obsession or a hobby that you gave up just to fit in, but eventually came back to, let me know in the comments. Honestly, I'd love to read your stories. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button. There are a lot of more stories like this on the way. See you in the next one. Bye!